they do have what is called a prehensile tongue, so that does just mean it is finger-like, and that helps them grab onto exactly the leaf that they want. Over here on our right-hand side, there is a nest on top of the bushes. Now there's one bird standing in it and one bird laying down. These are going to be the saddle-billed storks. With the saddle-billed storks, they get their name from the yellow part of their bill, shaped like a saddle. Now they do also mate for life, so those two on the right, they are a pair, and they're going to be together for the rest of their lives. Then on our left, that is a black rhino. With the black rhino, they are typically solitary species, so that does mean they are going to be seen traveling alone or in really small groups. With the rhinos, their horns are made of keratin, so that is the same as human hair, and nails will grow for the rest of their lives. Now on the right, there's one laying down right in the middle of the bushes. That is tan, that's the greater kudu. And then all the way in the back, the red ones with the horns, they are the bongos. So with the bongos, both the males and the females have horns. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two. But with the greater kudu, the males will have horns, whereas the females do not. So we can tell that all of the greater kudu that were on the right-hand side, they are all females. Now, as you could tell with the bongos, they were really good at hiding, so they do have the nickname, the ghost of the forest. So we are now leaving the forest, and we are going to be heading into the Safi River. With the Safi River, this is going to be home to some of those more aquatic animals. So we do want to keep a close eye on the water for any bubbles or ripples. Sometimes they like to be hiding underneath. So over here on our right-hand side, there are a few pink-back pelicans. Now you might be able to find a few Nile hippos down there as well. Starting with the pelicans, they do get their name because during mating season, their backs, the tips of their beaks, and their cheeks, they will all turn pink, just as though they are blushing. Now they do also have a wingspan of about 9 feet, so that is about just as long as that canopy above your head. Now there are 2 hippos right there on our right-hand side, and it does look like the rest of them are over here on our left. Now, as you can tell with these hippos, they do spend most of their time all the way under the water. This is because they can weigh up to about 5,000 pounds. That can be about just as much as a car. Now, a group of the Nile hippos, that is going to be called a float. With the hippos, they are all herbivores, so that does mean they only eat plants. So that is going to be quite different to the next animal we see out here. Now that next animal is coming up on our left-hand side, and they are going to be the Nile crocodile. Over on the left, we can see some of those crocodiles. Now they are going to be one of the largest reptiles in Africa. Now, those crocodiles are known for their incredible jaw strength, but they're also known to be super gentle with their jaw strength, as whenever they have their young, they'll actually hold the eggs in their mouths to help them hatch. Now, coming up on our right-hand side, we are going to see that large tree. Now, that is the baobab tree. With the baobab tree, it does have 2 nicknames. So that first one is the tree of life, and that second one is the upside-down tree. Now, it does get the nickname the upside-down tree because it looks like it has its roots up in the air. But we are heading into the savanna, so this is the largest and the most open part of the reserve. So because of this, we might be able to see a few herd species as there are safety in numbers. Now, we might also be able to see some familiar faces out here. The savanna is home to some of Africa's most famous animals. Does look like there are some familiar faces out here. So on our right-hand side, they're going to be those Hartmann's mountain zebras. With these zebras, it does look like they're all kind of spread out right now. But as we come around, you will notice that their stripes don't quite reach all the way down to their stomachs, and they do have that white belly. Now, whenever these zebras are born, they are born with their legs about as long as they will have for their whole adult life. That does make it incredibly awkward when they're first born, as they are just legs. But it does help them later in life to reach great speeds to get away from predators. Now over here on our left-hand side, we can see that den. Now the den does belong to the African painted ducks. Now they haven't been really good at hiding, so there's a good chance they are laying down completely flat behind their den. But as we come around, if you are able to see them, many will think the African painted dogs are related to the domesticated dog, but they're actually quite different. So one main difference is that they're only going to have 4 toes, whereas the domesticated dog will have 5. Now they are way out in the back, laying completely flat right now. Over here on our left, there are 2 animals with horns. So the ones in the back with the curved horns, they are the sable antelopes. And then the ones a little bit closer with the big horns, they are the Ankole cattle. Now, with the sable antelopes, they are Africa's bravest species, and whenever given a chance for fight or flight, they will almost always choose fight. Then with the Ankole cattle, they are one of the only domesticated species out on the reserve. You might think their horns are incredibly heavy, but they're actually really light as the inside is hollow. Now the 2 that are over here on our right-hand side, these are the elands. Now the elands are Africa's largest antelope species. As you can see, they do look very similar. Well, one is a male, one is a female. That one in the front is going to be the male. You can tell just because he is a little bit larger than that female. We are coming back around to the rest of those zebras. A group of them is going to be called a dazzle. And to answer everybody's life question about these zebras, they are all black with white stripes, and we can't tell that because all of their noses are black. Now the other animal that's out here with the zebras, those are going to be the wildebeest. With the wildebeest, they are one of those herd species I was talking about. The moms and the babies, they can be seen traveling in groups of up to about 1,000, whereas the males will form what is called a bachelor group. Now with the wildebeest, their Afrikaans name is Nu, so that is going to be GNU. That does come from the sound they make, because unlike a cow that moves, the wildebeest will Nu. Then there are 2 really small brown and white antelopes laying down right in the middle out on our right-hand side. Now, those are going to be one of Africa's smallest antelope species, so as you can imagine, it can be hard to find them out here. They do only get to about 2 feet at their shoulder. They are all curled up right now, so they are a little bit hard to see. They are the springbok. The springbok get their name because they can spring straight up into the air about 6 feet, or they can spring forward about 13 feet. And then that next familiar face over here on our left, they are the Maasai giraffes. With the Maasai giraffes, they are the tallest animal in the world, so those adults do get up to about 20 feet tall, and those babies are born at about 6 feet tall. They use their incredible height to reach the tops of the trees to get whatever leaves they may want. They also have really good eyesight, so that does help them see predators coming from great distances away. I might notice most of them out there are probably eating. They do spend most of their day eating, and they only save 30 minutes a day for sleep. Now that we have made this turn, we can see a few more of those baobab trees on the left and the right. With the baobab trees, they do get that second nickname, the tree of life, because they can store lots of water. So we can think of them as nature's water tower. Now it does look like we are coming up to a few of the African elephants. They're going to be over on our left-hand side. As we come around to these elephants, you are going to notice that they do have some incredibly large ears. There is also a baby out here, so I don't know if she's going to stay where she is, but right now she's right in front. Now their ears can be used to help cool their body off, so anytime they flap their ears, it cools the blood vessels lining their ears, which cools the rest of their body. Now currently the baby is not moving, so we should still be able to see her. She's the one standing right in the front by the water right now. Now the baby elephant, she is looking really small, especially compared to those other ones out here, but I can tell you she's already a few hundred pounds. She does weigh close to 800 or 900 pounds. So because that baby is out here, we can go ahead and assume that these are all of those female elephants. With the female elephants, they do travel in that group and they help to protect the younger ones. Now the next animal we're going to see is over on our left hand side. They are the greater flamingos. With the greater flamingos, they are the larger of the flamingo species, but they are the less pink. Might be able to see a few of them are gray. Those are just the younger flamingos, so we can see they're not hatched pink, they're hatched gray. A group of these flamingos is going to be called a flamboyant, and they will use their long necks to be able to reach the bottom of the water to get whatever food they may need. Now it does look like all of the white rhinos are coming out. Now most of them are sleeping, but there is one walking around. They're going to be all on that left-hand side. Now with the white rhinos, they do travel in groups. Those groups are going to be called a crash. Now you can also see they are by some mud out there. That is the mud wallows. The mud wallows is typically used by the white rhinos. They do like to roll around in that mud. That does help to cool their body off. It also helps prevent them from getting a sunburn. Now, as we come around to these rhinos, the difference between a white rhino and a black rhino is not by their color. Both the white and the black rhino are actually the same color. The difference comes from their lips. These white rhinos do have a wide lip, so that comes from the Afrikaans word "wide," which means wide. And then as we finish out the turn, also on our left-hand side, there are a few cheetahs up there. There's 3 laying down right now in the middle of the trees. With the cheetahs, they do typically have some pretty good camouflage skills, so at times they can be hard to spot. Now they are going to be one of the fastest animals in the world. They can go from 0 to 60 in just under 3 seconds. And unlike any other big cat that roars, the cheetahs will actually meow and purr just like the common house cat. There's a few more laying down out there behind the bushes. And if you have been on the safari before, then you do know what is coming up next. So we are coming up to the Kopi Rocks. With the Kopi Rocks, this is home to a few of those lions. I can already see the top of one of their heads laying down right here on the rock. So there are 3 lions out here, 2 females, 1 male. Doesn't look like this might be the male right now. As you can tell with these lions, they do lay completely flat, so at times they can be hard to find. You can see the head and the ear of that male lion sleeping, and then as we go around, hopefully we'll find the females. Now they are really young out here, so that male lion, he doesn't quite have his full mane. He is still working on growing it in. But as you can see, they do spend most of their days sleeping, and they become most active right at dusk and dawn.
Oh, yeah.
Now with these lions, because they are all really young, they still haven't quite figured out how to roar yet. But when they do get a little bit older and they are able to roar, a lion's roar is pretty cool to hear. You can hear it up to about 5 miles away. Now over here on our left-hand side, we're going to see a few warthogs moving around. Does look like all 3 of them are awake. With the warthogs, they are going to be one of the largest burrowing species. So the giant holes that you see, those are the burrows. They do like to back into those burrows. That does leave their razor-sharp tusks out. That way they are not being left vulnerable. Now we do like to call them nature's recyclers because instead of making their own burrows, which they are fully capable of, they will almost always use abandoned burrows. Now over here on our right, this is a water buck. Water bucks get get their name because water is a huge part of their diet, and they're almost always seen by some kind of water. And sometimes we find a few ostriches out here with them. However, it does look like they are all hiding, so we are coming up to a few of those ostrich eggs. Those ostrich eggs are going to be on our right-hand side, right past this tree. With the ostrich eggs, they are going to be some of the largest as well as strongest eggs in the world. A male ostrich can actually stand on top of them and they will not break. And about each of those eggs does weigh about 3 pounds, which is going to be about the same as 2 dozen chicken eggs. So we are now heading into the Magadi Glen. So this is home to the Warden's Post. It is also home to a few of the Warden's pets. These pets, they are the Nigerian dwarf goats. With these goats, they often get mistaken for being young because of how small they are. But most of them are adults, and this is their full size. Now, goats can also be seen headbutting each other, but that is just another form of communication for them. The same way humans will high five or fist bump. And with the goats, they do make great pets for the Warden. Now, they do like to help keep the grass mowed. They also provide milk for any dairy products that the Warden may need. But it does look like our safari is coming to an end, so I really hope everybody saw some cool animals and learned